Welcome, travelers, to a country that is not just a place, but an idea. A global benchmark for beauty, culture, and the art of living well. From the lavender fields of Provence to the glittering lights of Paris, this is a nation that has captivated the world for centuries. Today, we embark on a journey to explore France and to understand a bold belief. What makes this the most beautiful country in Europe? The name France evokes a powerful tapestry of images: the Eiffel Tower, masterpieces in the Louvre, vineyards in Bordeaux, and the simple pleasure of a fresh croissant at a sidewalk cafe. It is a country that has given the world revolution, romance, gastronomy, and joie de vivre, the joy of living. But what is life truly like here in 2025, beyond the iconic landmarks? In this documentary, we will uncover the authentic soul of La Belle France. We will explore daily life in Paris, travel across stunning regions like the Riviera and Alsace, and immerse ourselves in the pillars of French culture, its world-renowned food and wine. We will examine the modern lifestyle and cost of living, all while seeking the essence of what makes this country so enduringly beautiful. Join us as we stroll along the Seine, wander through bustling markets, and explore the landscapes that have inspired countless artists. Prepare to see France not just as a collection of sights, but as a living, breathing entity. This is a journey into the heart of beauty itself. This is life in France. Our journey into the soul of France begins, as it must, in Paris. More than just a capital city, Paris is the nation's beating heart, its cultural epicenter, and a global symbol of art, love, and sophistication. It is a city that has inspired countless novels, paintings, and films, a place whose very name is synonymous with romance and beauty. But to truly understand Paris, one must look beyond the monumental landmarks and the throngs of tourists. We must delve into the daily life of the Parisians themselves to discover the rhythm of existence in a city that is at once a living museum and a dynamic, modern metropolis. The daily life of a Parisian often begins not with a grand gesture, but with a simple, cherished ritual. It starts at the local boulangerie, bakery, a cornerstone of every neighborhood. The air inside is warm and fragrant with the scent of freshly baked bread. Here, Parisians queue for their daily baguette, a crusty, warm loaf that is an essential part of almost every meal, or a flaky, buttery croissant to be enjoyed with their morning coffee. This is not just a transaction, it is a daily social interaction, a moment of connection with the community. The local baker often knows their customers by name, a small but significant part of the intricate social fabric that makes up Parisian neighborhood life. The city is famously a collection of arrondissements, or districts, each with its own distinct character and identity. While tourists may flock to the first arrondissement for the Louvre or the seventh for the Eiffel Tower, Parisians live their lives in neighborhoods like Le Marais, with its blend of historic aristocratic mansions, trendy boutiques, and vibrant LGBTQ+ culture, or the Latin Quarter, with its intellectual energy fueled by the Sorbonne University and its maze of narrow medieval streets. They reside in the bohemian, artistic enclave of Montmartre, where the spirit of Picasso and Modigliani still lingers on its hilly streets, or in the quieter, more residential areas of the 15th or 16th arrondissement, with their elegant Haussmannian apartment buildings and beautiful parks. A Parisian's identity is often deeply tied to their neighborhood, their local market, their favorite cafe, and their preferred park. The Parisian workday is structured around a deep-seated belief in work-life balance. The commute itself can be a uniquely Parisian experience, often involving a journey on the efficient but crowded metro, followed by a walk through streets that are a constant architectural delight. Lunch is a respected institution. While a quick sandwich jambon beurre, a simple ham and butter sandwich on a baguette, is common, many still take the time for a proper déjeuner, often a two-course meal at a local bistro complete with a small glass of wine. The workday typically ends, and the evening begins. This is when the city truly comes alive for its residents. The apéritif, or apéro, is a cherished pre-dinner ritual, a time to unwind with friends over a glass of wine, a pastis, or a light cocktail accompanied by small snacks. This is followed by dinner, which is often eaten later than in many other cultures. But the true art of Parisian living is found in the simple, unscripted moments. It is the pleasure of strolling aimlessly along the banks of the Seine as the sun sets, watching the bateaux mouches glide by. It is the joy of browsing the bouquinistes, the iconic green stalls of second-hand booksellers that line the river. It is the simple act of sitting for hours at a sidewalk cafe, not just to drink coffee but to talk, to read, to people watch, and to simply be in the city. Parisians are masters of the art of flânerie, the act of wandering without a specific destination, simply to observe and absorb the life of the city. Of course, life in Paris is not without its challenges. The cost of living, particularly housing, is notoriously high. Apartments are often small, and the city can feel crowded and fast-paced. Parisians are known for a certain directness or reserve that can sometimes be mistaken for unfriendliness. But beneath this exterior lies a deep pride in their city and a passion for its culture. This passion is on full display in the city's countless markets, like the Marché des Enfants Rouges or the Marché Bastille, where residents meticulously select fresh produce, cheese, and meat for their meals, engaging in knowledgeable conversations with the vendors. It is evident in their fierce defense of their culture, their love for debate and intellectual conversation, and their unwavering appreciation for beauty in all its forms, be it in art, fashion, food, or the elegant design of a public garden. To live in Paris is to be in a constant dialogue with history and beauty. It is to walk past Notre Dame on your way to work, to have a picnic in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, and to have the world's greatest art collections just a short metro ride away. It is a life that demands an appreciation for the finer things, but also finds immense beauty in the simplest of pleasures. This is the true heartbeat of France, a city that teaches you not just how to live, but how to live well. To understand France is to understand that food and wine are not mere sustenance. They are the twin pillars of its culture, the very essence of its identity, and the foundation of its celebrated l'art de vivre, the art of living. In France, a meal is never just about feeding the body. It is a ritual, a celebration, and an art form in itself. The French approach to gastronomy is one of deep respect for ingredients, a reverence for tradition, and an unwavering belief that the pleasures of the table are a fundamental part of a life well lived. The journey into French cuisine begins with the concept of terroir. This is a word with no direct English translation, but it encompasses the idea that every food product, be it wine, cheese, or vegetables, is an expression of the specific place it comes from, the soil, the climate, the geography, and the local traditions. This philosophy is why a goat cheese from the Loire Valley tastes different from one made in Provence, and why a Burgundy wine is distinct from a Bordeaux. It is a celebration of regional identity and a rejection of mass-produced uniformity. This deep connection to the land is visible every week in towns and villages across the country, at the local marché, market. Here, producers sell their goods directly to consumers, and shopping is a sensory experience. The vibrant colors of seasonal fruits and vegetables, the rich aroma of hundreds of different cheeses, the sight of freshly caught fish on ice. It is all a testament to the French passion for fresh, high-quality ingredients. French cuisine itself is a vast and diverse landscape. It ranges from the rustic, hearty dishes of the countryside to the intricate, refined creations of haute cuisine. In a traditional bistro, you might find comforting classics like bœuf bourguignon, a rich beef stew slow-cooked in red wine, or coq au vin, chicken braised with wine, mushrooms, and onions. In the brasseries, you can enjoy simple, perfectly executed dishes like steak frites, steak and fries, or fresh oysters from the coast. Then there is the world of the pâtisserie, a realm of exquisite artistry where cream, chocolate, and fruit are transformed into delicate and beautiful creations like macarons, éclairs, and millefeuilles. Every region has its own specialties: a culinary map of France, bouillabaisse, a complex fish stew. In Marseille, choucroute, sauerkraut with sausages and meats. In Alsace, cassoulet, a slow-cooked bean stew with duck and sausage. In the southwest, and crepes in Brittany. No discussion of French food would be complete without paying homage to its two most famous exports, cheese and bread. France produces over 1,000 different types of cheese, a staggering diversity that is a source of immense national pride. From the creamy, pungent camembert of Normandy to the sharp, blue-veined Roquefort and the hard, nutty Comté from the mountains, cheese is an integral part of the French meal, typically served after the main course and before dessert. And the perfect partner for any cheese is, of course, the bread. The baguette is a national symbol, its quality so important that there are laws defining how it must be made. The daily act of buying a fresh baguette is a ritual that unites the country. The second pillar of French culture is wine. France is the spiritual home of wine, and its vineyards are the benchmark against which all others are measured. The names of its wine regions are legendary: Bordeaux, Burgundy, Champagne, the Rhône Valley, the Loire. Here, winemaking is not just an industry, it is a noble craft, a tradition passed down through generations. The concept of terroir finds its ultimate expression in wine. A French winemaker does not see themselves as creating a flavor, but as helping the grape express the unique character of its specific plot of land. A wine tasting in France is an education in geography and history. In Bordeaux, you learn about the classic blends of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot that create powerful, age-worthy red wines. In Burgundy, you discover the subtle, elegant complexities of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. In Champagne, you celebrate with the world's most famous sparkling wine, a symbol of luxury and joy. For the French, wine is not for intoxication. It is an essential component of a meal, chosen carefully to complement the food and elevate the dining experience. Together, food and wine form the foundation of l'art de vivre. This art of living is a philosophy that prioritizes quality over quantity, pleasure over haste, and beauty in everyday life. It is about taking the time to savor a meal, to appreciate the conversation of friends and family around the table, and to find joy in the simple, sensory pleasures of life. It is a conscious decision to slow down, to be present, and to engage with the world in a more meaningful way. It is why the French lunch break is sacred, why cafes are for lingering, and why a simple picnic of a baguette, some cheese, and a bottle of wine can feel like the most luxurious meal in the world. In 2025, in a world that often feels increasingly fast-paced and disposable, this French commitment to the art of living well remains a powerful and inspiring lesson. While Paris may be the heart of France, the country's true beauty lies in its extraordinary diversity. To travel through France is to journey through a constantly changing tapestry of landscapes, cultures, and climates, each region possessing a character so distinct it can feel like entering a different country. From the sun-drenched glamour of the Mediterranean coast to the fairy-tale charm of its Germanic borderlands and the majestic peaks of its Alpine frontier. The regions of France are where the nation's soul finds its most varied and vibrant expression. Our journey through this tapestry begins in the sun-kissed southeast, on the legendary Côte d'Azur, or the French Riviera. This is a land of dazzling light, azure blue waters, and glamorous seaside towns that have been a magnet for artists, aristocrats, and sun-seekers for over a century. The city of Nice, with its long, curving Promenade des Anglais and its Italianate Old Town, is the region's vibrant capital. Further along the coast, the tiny Principality of Monaco offers a world of extravagant wealth, with its famous casino, Grand Prix circuit, and harbor filled with super yachts. The town of Cannes becomes the center of the film world every May for its famous festival, its croisette lined with palm trees, and designer boutiques. But beyond the glitz and glamour, the Riviera also offers moments of quiet beauty. The perched medieval villages of Aise and Saint-Paul-de-Vence, clinging to rocky hillsides high above the sea, offer breathtaking views and a glimpse into a more ancient, tranquil past. The light here is legendary, a quality that drew artists like Matisse, Picasso, and Chagall, who lived and worked here, forever capturing the region's vibrant colors on canvas. Moving inland from the coast, we enter Provence, a region that embodies the romantic ideal of the French countryside. This is a landscape of rolling hills, ancient olive groves, and fragrant lavender fields that stretch to the horizon in a sea of purple during the summer months. The pace of life here is slower, dictated by the sun and the seasons. The heart of any Provençal town is its weekly market, a bustling, colorful affair where locals gather to buy fresh produce, local cheeses, fragrant herbs, and artisanal products. The region is dotted with charming towns like Gourd, with its stone houses cascading down a hillside, and Roussillon, famous for its ochre cliffs that glow in shades of red, yellow, and orange. The historic city of Avignon, once the seat of the Catholic popes, is dominated by the immense Palais des Papes, a formidable Gothic fortress. To experience Provence is to indulge in a simpler, more sensory way of life, one filled with the scent of lavender, the taste of rosé wine, and the warm glow of the southern sun. From the south, we travel west to the region of Bordeaux, a name synonymous with the world's most prestigious wines. The landscape here is more orderly, a vast and serene expanse of meticulously tended vineyards. The city of Bordeaux itself is a masterpiece of 18th century neoclassical architecture, its elegant stone facades and grand squares lining the Garonne River. But the real treasure of the region lies in its chateaux, the magnificent wine estates that produce legendary wines. A journey along the Route des Châteaux in the Médoc Peninsula is a pilgrimage for wine lovers, passing iconic names like Château Margaux, Château Latour, and Château Mouton Rothschild. Further east, the charming medieval village of Saint-Émilion, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is surrounded by some of the world's most famous Merlot-based vineyards. Life in Bordeaux is refined and deeply connected to the land and the complex art of winemaking. In the northeast, bordering Germany, we find a region with a completely different character, Alsace. Having switched between French and German rule several times throughout history, Alsace has a unique hybrid culture. This is most visible in its architecture, with towns like Colmar and Strasbourg featuring colorful, half-timbered houses that look like they belong in a Brothers Grimm fairy tale. The local dialect, the cuisine, with its emphasis on sauerkraut, sausages, and pretzels, and the names of towns and villages all reflect this Germanic heritage. The Route des Vins d'Alsace, Alsace Wine Route, winds through picturesque villages, past rolling hills covered in vineyards that are famous for their aromatic white wines, particularly Riesling and Gewürztraminer. Strasbourg, the region's capital and a seat of the European Parliament, is a beautiful city with a stunning Gothic cathedral and a charming historic quarter known as La Petite France. Finally, no exploration of France's regions would be complete without a visit to the majestic French Alps. This is a dramatic landscape of towering, snow-capped peaks, deep green valleys, and crystal-clear lakes. In winter, it is a world-class destination for skiing and snowboarding, with famous resorts like Chamonix, Courchevel, and Val d'Isère attracting visitors from around the globe. The town of Chamonix sits in the shadow of Mont Blanc, the highest peak in Western Europe, offering a breathtaking backdrop and a hub for mountaineering and alpine sports. In summer, the snow melts to reveal a paradise for hikers, with thousands of kilometers of trails winding through stunning scenery. The Alps showcase the raw, powerful, and untamed side of French beauty, a dramatic contrast to the gentle hills of Provence or the orderly vineyards of Bordeaux. This incredible diversity, this ability to travel through such vastly different worlds within the borders of a single country, is perhaps the most compelling reason why France is so often called the most beautiful country in Europe. To travel through France is to be in a constant, living dialogue with the past. The country's landscape is not just a collection of beautiful scenes. It is a historical document, written in the stone of its majestic castles, its soaring cathedrals, and its countless historic landmarks. From the Roman ruins in the south to the battlefields of Normandy in the north, France's history is a rich, complex, and often turbulent story of kings and queens, revolution and faith, war and artistic genius. This tangible connection to the past is a fundamental part of the nation's identity and a key component of its profound beauty. The story of royal France is most elegantly told in the Loire Valley, often called the Garden of France. During the French Renaissance, this lush and fertile region became the favored playground of kings and nobles, who built a stunning collection of magnificent chateaux. These are not the grim, defensive fortresses of the Middle Ages. They are pleasure palaces, designed to showcase wealth, power, and a sophisticated taste for art and architecture. The Château de Chambord, the largest in the valley, is a breathtaking masterpiece of French Renaissance architecture. Its famous skyline a forest of ornate towers, cupolas, and chimneys. Its most celebrated feature is the ingenious double helix staircase, attributed by some to Leonardo da Vinci, which allows two people to ascend or descend without ever meeting. The Château de Chenonceau, gracefully arching over the river Cher, is perhaps the most romantic. Known as the Ladies' Château for the powerful women who shaped its history, its elegant galleries and beautiful gardens create a scene of perfect harmony between architecture and nature. Each chateau has its own story, from the royal intrigue at Blois to the fairy tale beauty of Azay-le-Rideau. The ultimate expression of royal power and ambition is, of course, the Palace of Versailles. Located just outside Paris, this former royal residence is a staggering symbol of absolute monarchy. What began as a humble hunting lodge was transformed by Louis XIII, the Sun King, into the most magnificent palace in Europe. The epicenter of French political and cultural life for over a century. Its scale is almost impossible to comprehend. The opulent Hall of Mirrors, the lavish kings and queens apartments, and the vast, meticulously designed gardens of Versailles were all intended to awe and overwhelm, a clear statement of the king's divine right to rule. To walk through Versailles is to step into a world of unimaginable luxury and rigid courtly etiquette, the world that would ultimately fuel the flames of the French Revolution. The spiritual history of France is etched into the soaring vaults and stained glass windows of its great Gothic cathedrals. These magnificent structures, built during the Middle Ages, were not just places of worship, they were immense acts of civic pride and divine devotion, often taking centuries to complete. The Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, even after the tragic fire of 2019, remains a powerful symbol of the nation's resilience and faith. The cathedrals of Chartres, Reims, and Amiens are considered high points of Gothic art. Chartres is particularly famous for its stunning collection of original stained glass windows, their deep, luminous blues creating an ethereal, otherworldly atmosphere inside. Reims Cathedral was the traditional site for the coronation of French kings, its facade adorned with thousands of sculptures. These cathedrals were the Bibles of the poor, their sculptures and windows telling biblical stories to a largely illiterate population, and their soaring height was designed to draw the eyes and the soul upwards towards heaven. But French history is not just a story of kings and bishops. It is also a story of conflict and remembrance. In the south, the Pont de Gare, a massive Roman aqueduct, stands as a testament to the engineering genius of the Roman Empire and its lasting impact on the region. In Normandy, the windswept beaches of Omaha, Utah, and Juneau are solemn and powerful reminders of the D-Day landings in 1944. To walk through the vast American, British, or Canadian cemeteries with their endless rows of white crosses and stars of David is a deeply moving experience, a tribute to the immense sacrifice made to liberate Europe. The remnants of German bunkers and the pockmarked landscape still bear the scars of that momentous day. From the prehistoric cave paintings at Lascaux, which offer a mysterious glimpse into the minds of our most distant ancestors, to the magnificent papal palace in Avignon and the fortified medieval city of Carcassonne, France is saturated with history. This is a country where you can check into a hotel that was once a 17th century convent, eat in a restaurant that has been serving food since the Middle Ages, and walk on Roman roads. This constant, visible presence of the past gives the country a unique depth and resonance. It is a reminder that the present is built upon the layers of all that came before. This weight of history, far from being a burden, adds a richness and a meaning to the landscape, contributing immeasurably to the profound and enduring beauty of France. Beyond the grand narrative of its history, culture, and cuisine, what is the reality of everyday life in France in 2025? The modern French lifestyle is a fascinating blend of deeply ingrained traditions and the dynamic pressures of a globalized world. It is a society that fiercely protects its unique way of life while adapting to new economic and social realities. Understanding this balance, along with the practicalities of the cost of living, is key to grasping the complete picture of France today. A cornerstone of the modern French lifestyle is the social contract, which places a high value on quality of life and social protection. The French work to live. They do not live to work. This philosophy is enshrined in law and practice. The 35-hour work week, while flexible in its application, sets a standard for work-life balance. Employees are entitled to a generous number of paid vacation days, typically 5 weeks or more, which they are strongly encouraged to take. The long summer holiday, particularly in August, is a national institution, a time when cities like Paris quiet down as residents flock to the countryside or the coast. This commitment to leisure is not seen as laziness, but as a fundamental right and a necessary component of a healthy and productive life. The healthcare system, Sécurité sociale, is another pillar of this social contract. It is a universal system that provides high-quality care to all legal residents, funded through Social Security contributions. While not entirely free, it ensures that access to healthcare is not dependent on wealth, a principle that is a source of immense national pride. Family remains a central pillar of society, but its structure has evolved. While traditional family gatherings for long Sunday lunches are still common, modern family life reflects broader European trends. The education system is highly regarded and rigorous, with a strong emphasis on critical thinking and philosophy, even at the high school level. The French are known for their love of debate and intellectual discussion. A dinner party is often a forum for lively, passionate conversation about politics, art, and current events, a national pastime that sharpens the mind and reinforces the value placed on intellectualism. However, living this celebrated lifestyle comes at a cost. France has a reputation for being an expensive country, and in many respects, this is true. The cost of living varies significantly by region, with Paris being in a league of its own. Housing in the capital is notoriously expensive, with high rents for often small apartments being the single biggest financial challenge for most Parisians. In major cities like Lyon, Nice, and Bordeaux, housing costs are also high, though generally more manageable than in Paris. In rural areas and smaller towns, however, property and rental prices can be surprisingly affordable, offering a much more accessible entry point to the French way of life. Daily expenses can also be high, partly due to the TVA, value-added tax, which is applied to most goods and services. Groceries can be more expensive than in neighboring countries, especially if one shops exclusively at upscale supermarkets. However, the French have mastered the art of savvy shopping. By frequenting local markets for seasonal produce, buying machines, buying trobine, buying bread from the boulangerie, and meat from the boucherie, they often get higher quality ingredients for a reasonable price. The culture of eating out ranges from the very expensive Michelin-starred restaurants to the very affordable formule, or menu du jour, a fixed-price 2- or 3-course lunch menu offered by most bistros and brasseries, which represents excellent value. Transportation costs are a mixed bag. Owning a car can be expensive due to the high price of fuel, tolls, péage on the motorways, and insurance. However, the public transportation system is excellent. The high-speed TGV train network is a marvel of engineering, connecting the country's major cities with incredible speed and efficiency. While last-minute tickets can be pricey, booking in advance can lead to significant savings. In cities, public transport systems of trams, buses, and metros are generally efficient and reasonably priced. The high cost of living is directly linked to the high level of public services and social benefits that the French enjoy. Taxes and social security contributions are high, but they fund the universal health care, the excellent public education system, the well-maintained infrastructure, and the generous social safety net. It is a social choice, a trade-off where higher costs and taxes are accepted in exchange for a high standard of living, social stability, and a quality of life that prioritizes well-being, culture, and leisure. In 2025, while grappling with economic pressures and debates about reform, this fundamental social contract remains the defining feature of the modern French lifestyle. As our journey across the length and breadth of France concludes, we return to the question that has guided our exploration. What makes this the most beautiful country in Europe? We have wandered through its cities, tasted its flavors, and marveled at its landscapes. The answer, we have discovered, is not a single, simple thing. The beauty of France is not just in its physical appearance, it is a complex and deeply woven tapestry, an art form that the French have perfected over centuries. The beauty of France is, of course, in its extraordinary physical diversity. It is a country that offers, within its own borders, a world of different landscapes. It is the dramatic, snow-capped majesty of the Alps and the gentle, sun-drenched hills of Provence. It is the glamorous, azure coastline of the Riviera and the wild, rugged shores of Brittany. It is the meticulously ordered vineyards of Bordeaux and the fairy-tale, half-timbered villages of Alsace. This sheer variety, this ability to experience such different worlds in a single nation, is a cornerstone of its aesthetic appeal. The beauty of France is also in the profound weight of its history, a history that is not confined to museums but is alive in the very stones of its streets. It is in the soaring, spiritual ambition of its Gothic cathedrals, the opulent, worldly grandeur of Versailles, and the romantic, elegant chateaux of the Loire Valley. It is a beauty enriched by the stories it tells, of kings and revolutionaries, of artists and saints. This constant presence of a rich and storied past gives the landscape a depth and a resonance that is deeply captivating. But perhaps most importantly, the beauty of France is in its philosophy, its unwavering commitment to l'art de vivre, the art of living. This is where France's beauty becomes more than just something to be seen. It becomes something to be experienced. It is the belief that life's simple pleasures are its most profound. It is the respect for terroir, the idea that every food and wine is an expression of the place it comes from. It is the dedication to craftsmanship, whether it is in the baking of a perfect baguette, the aging of a fine cheese, or the creation of a haute couture gown. It is the cultural insistence on taking time to eat, time to talk, time to appreciate, time to simply be. In a world that often prizes speed, efficiency, and quantity, France stands as a powerful counterpoint, a culture that champions quality, pleasure, and beauty in all its forms. It is a country that teaches you that a 2-hour lunch is not a waste of time, but an investment in well-being. It teaches you that beauty is not a luxury, but a necessity for the human soul. So, is France the most beautiful country in Europe? Perhaps the question is not about making a definitive judgment, but about understanding what French beauty truly is. It is a holistic concept, a seamless blend of landscape, history, culture, and philosophy. It is an art form, practiced daily in its kitchens, its vineyards, its workshops, and its cafes. It is a way of life. And it is this art, this deep, unwavering, and passionate commitment to the pursuit of beauty in all its forms that makes France an eternal source of inspiration and enchantment for the entire world. Final shot, a classic slow-motion shot of a Parisian cafe terrace in the late afternoon. People are talking, laughing, and enjoying a glass of wine. The golden light filters through the leaves of a plane tree. The scene is simple, elegant, and perfectly captures the essence of joie de vivre.